I can't quite contain or explain my evil ways, or explain why I'm not sane. All I can say is this is your warning. I can't quite.
So next we have is our ruler tool. Now again, as a ruler state, it is a ruler. So we're going to go ahead with the ruler, and it just helps you draw your lines. You can adjust it, turn it, and then you see these notches down here. This little information at the bottom where it says angle tells you the angle that your ruler is sitting at. So right now I have it at 90 degrees. And voila, there is my lines. And let's do that. Ta-da! Let's see if I, again, maybe sample that one gradient. Yay, it worked! So I needed all connecting lines. For some reason it didn't want to work today. But this is what you do when you want to, without actually having to go in and select. Now it does run into its own set of problems, so just you find what works for you yourself. So aside from that, let's go ahead, make that disappear. Voila. Ooh. Voila again. We're now going in, this is our mirroring tool. So as it says, it basically mirrors what we want from a center point. So because I love you all, how about a nice little heart? Okay, that's a crappy little heart. Let's try again. Nice little heart. Oh my goodness, my hand is shaky today. Nice little slow heart. Okay, so there is my heart. All right, so that is if you want it going up and down, being the mirror image. Now let's hide that, add a new layer. So say you want your mirror image to be up and down flip mirror. So say I want two hearts joining at the middle. Kind of looks like two butts, but we'll go with it. That's how that tool works. Now again, you can have them sectioned like this. And there you go, where it mirrors on either side as well as up and down. Now, to turn off those things, you just have to simply click, 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 turn them off. Now again, as you see, this is the plus sign. This allows me to add new layers. This is going to be the Radial Symmetry. Now, with Radial Symmetry, you can do a couple of things. You can increase the radial with however many points you want, all the way up to 16 and as low as 3, because this allows you to do 2. This does 3 to 16. So say we want to go ahead and do a 9 point. All right. All right. So this apparently stops strokes at center line. That extends strokes to center line. So we're going to stop strokes at center line. So what we're going to do is let's have a little fun. That way you don't get any overlap into your next sets. Now, unfortunately, my system seems to, because it involves a lot of thinking for your tablet or phone, it can actually hold things up a little bit. So that kind of gives you an idea of what the symmetry tool does. Let's click off that. Now this is your line tool. Now this pretty much makes things almost perfect. So I'm going to click on the line option. Straight line right across. That's the line. This is the oval. So you can make circles, you can make ovals. This does come in handy when you're trying to make nice things like backgrounds and all that. So that's your oval. Now I use this a lot when I'm framing for background, if I want to frame around it, and then I just sit and go back to the tool, the transform tool, and adjust it to the way I want it to be. All right. Now, in doing this, the thickness of your frame and everything will be dependent on your brushes and your brush sizes right off the bat. You can't change it once you lay it down, but you can delete and start again. Now, for the next tool in this toolbox here is the Predictive Stroke. Now, this is kind of similar to a stabilizer, kinda. What happens is with this particular tool, it will try to predict what your stroke will be. So yes, you could get still shaky lines, and just all depending on what you're trying to achieve. You may have to turn the predictive control off, because sometimes it over predicts and thinks you want something else when you don't want that. So let's see, I'm gonna do, so this is what it looks like as this is what it looks like without the predictive tool on. And no, this is normal shaky hand. This is what I do with predictive tool on, and how it readjusts the line to the way I want it. Now you can change the level of predictiveness. So that same one at level 1 will only predict it slightly. At level 5, it will definitely straighten that. Predictive tool I use a lot when I go ahead and start my line art. That way it helps keep a smoother line, as well as makes things rounder if I'm trying to achieve a nice round effect. Just be careful, keep an eye constantly on what it's doing, or you will run into difficulties. Now, this tool here is your import picture tool. So as you can see, it's got a bunch of pictures here in my thing. So these are recently downloaded ones. I can click on this, go into my gallery. Now this is all based on an Android tablet. If you have an iPad, I'm sorry, I am not sure how that will function differently. But if I'm looking, say, for, I want this picture in here, scale it. Ta-da! Now it's in. And sorry, just a bit of fun with the image. We will go through filters and all that on a different tutorial. For now, we are just addressing the top bar tool for this tutorial. All right, now next is the perspective tool. Now, I rarely use this tool myself, so I really don't have a lot of practical knowledge with it, but it does appear that you can change your perspectives. You can work on that and so it'll help you, like if, say, you want to draw a house or something, it would help you with deciding what you want for perspectives. Again, seldom use that, really don't have a need for it with a lot of the art I've done recently, but it doesn't mean it may not be a tool I'll use in the future. Now, again, another tool in this is if you want to add text to it. Now, Sketchbook by Autodesk is very limited in the amount of fonts you can get. This is it. You know, not a huge list. I tend to like the serif, bold, italics. That is my go-to. And here, you can change the color in that. Again, you can transform it and distort it, nudge it, flip it, rotate it, whatever you need to do. Alright, so here's an example. This is the sans serif, sans normal, sans bold, serif normal, serif bold, italicize, italicize. Like I said, I prefer italicize. Now, while you're in the text, you can make your alterations like this. Okay? Same as you would if you were just using a normal transform tool. You can flip it, you can play around with it, you can counterclockwise it. Problem is, once you are done, you are done. There is nothing you can do to edit this piece later. If you need to change it, you will have to start the text over again. Alright, now last two ones are kind of fun. Now this one, if you're ever wanting to do kind of speed paints with this kind of program, and you don't want all this extra stuff, If you want all this extra stuff here, like the side columns, the top bar, this, to show the actual artistic process, then you will need a separate screen recorder. My recommendation would be the DU recorder. That is what I personally use for a lot of my speed paints. But if you don't want to use that and you just want to have simple fun, you click on this right there, and then you sit with a new layer, not a hidden layer. You sit and you draw. Now what happens is this recorder will actually record the strokes of your line. So the videos will tend to be shorter, need less formatting. And when you are done recording, you click it again. So see how it has a flashing red light and it's white. Now, right now, because there is no strokes being moved on the page, it's not actually recording. If I was to go ahead and go back in here, it would start recording those things kind of like an animation. Once I click here, it will give me the option of continue recording, discard. So playback time is only 3 seconds. The amount of frames captured was 51, and the session duration, what my actual draw time was 41 seconds there. If you want to save to device, you click on save to device. You have a folder, whatever folder you want for that, you click save. And if you want to go ahead and view your actual video, go back into your gallery, and then in the file I saved it to, oops, that's a commission I'm working on. In the file I saved it to, there's the actual video. So I hit play video, and as you can see, it only captured just my lines, nothing else. Now back to Autodesk Sketchbook. So the last tool in our repertoire along the top line here, okay, maybe the second last tool on second thought. And sorry again if the picture is constantly readjusting, it is a cell phone that I am recording on presently. But the second last tool is this little bad boy. Now what it does is it leaves you with nothing but the canvas to physically see. And that's cool. So whatever your last selection was for your brush will be what you'll be able to use now. Now, if you want to return back and see all your tools, which I personally prefer seeing my tools all the time, is go back into there. And all our tools are back. Now, that is along the top bar. Now, you're asking, I said it was the second last, as I corrected myself. So second last means that we also forgot our menu. Now, our menu gives us our options for new sketch, gallery, share, and preferences. Preferences is the general settings of the whole system. And again, we'll review that all at a later time. But if you want to go ahead and save your artwork and not lose what you've just done, it does not auto-save. You will need to go into gallery, and you will need to hit save current sketch. And as you can see, it's saving the current sketch. Now I'm going to go back into it and show you what another option is. Now, say you're doing a just a slight alteration, and you're not sure which one you want to keep, and you want to gauge somebody else's opinion. So let's say we go into that, transform it, flip it. So say for some reason I really like this, but I wasn't sure which one's the better option, and I want to present two to show people simultaneously, but not alter the first piece. So I can go into menu, gallery. Now here's a nice little one that's helpful to have, especially if you have problems with your system crashing or anything, is save current sketch as a copy. And what it will do is it's not only going to just save that current sketch, but it's going to make a secondary file on your actual gallery page in your Autodesk Sketchbook program. And so you still have your original, but now you also have that secondary altered one that if for some reason you want to go back to the first one and discard this one, you haven't altered the first one. But if for some reason you want to discard this later, you can. So at this point, this is what we're going to... So at this point, this is the Sketchbook by Autodesk top toolbar. I will continue doing another tutorial, this time for the sidebar, which has all your brushes and all that. So stay tuned for part 2, where we're going to go ahead and review the brushes that come with our tool. Have a great day. Lots of love. Bye.